So things don't always go as planned. Case in point, this podcast, let alone my YouTube channel. So welcome to another episode of Grow an Online Business, where I discuss the ins and outs, ups and downs, successes and failures of trying to grow an online business. And this season, we are trying to grow a YouTube channel. So for those of you who've been paying attention and following along, the YouTube channel is at a place where it's big enough now that it's real. And it's also real enough to be disappointing. I swear I'm kind of at a stalemate where I'm a little bit stuck, and I realized I've kind of done some audits on the channel, tried to figure out what's going on and why it is sticking where it's at. And I realized I've got no unique content. I'm doing okay. The channel is fine. I got enough content on there that the videos are doing okay. They're getting some traction week after week. It's still doing it. But it's not growing at the pace, obviously, that I would like it to. And through the audits that we've done, and we've had different people audit it, it's because, or at least this is what I've learned this week from my directioner. And for those of you who are used to listening to this podcast, you know my directioner is the person who's doing my editing and kind of directing me through the process of building this channel out. And look for the link. I'll put a link if you're interested in using his services. I don't know that he necessarily is taking on new clients, but either way, check it out. But he directed me this month, and I'm going to say month because it's been a while since I've been on here and done another podcast. So in the last month, I've basically derailed. I fell off the track. I got really, really down, disappointed in the fact that it wasn't growing, wasn't doing anything. And I realized that after talking to him and him having all the people run the audits and so forth, that there's no unique content. It's just me sitting in a chair giving advice. And much like I'm just sitting here talking right now, right? There's nothing new, there's nothing different, nothing unique. So if you've seen one of my videos, I mean, other than the material that I'm going over, you've seen them all. And I kind of touch on all the different aspects of a relationship, from getting into it to getting out of it to what you should do in order to maintain communication when you're in it. And so it's everything to make being in a relationship easier, because I don't think being in a relationship should be as hard as we all make it. It obviously is difficult because you've got two unique individuals trying to come together, blah, blah, blah. Watch the channel if you're interested in more relationship stuff. So as far as the channel goes, I think what I'm going to start doing is we've decided to try and do story videos. So I'm going to tell the information in story form. I like to think that I'm a decent storyteller, and we'll find out exactly how good I am, because I'm going to start telling stories that relate to couples, or that couples might relate to, in order to make the point. And so instead of just doing it in an academic style where I'm just saying this is what it looks like, this is the symptomology, this is how you fix it. Instead of doing that, I'm going to start telling it in more of a story form. Like, can you relate to this? This couple did this couple found that, and this is what they're going through, blah blah blah. And I really am hoping to do it in a way that's a little bit more interactive for the audience. So when you're hearing it and you're hearing about what this person did, what they were going through, what they had tried, and then I'm hoping to get some audience feedback, like, oh my God, I did the same thing, or, oh, you know what he should have done, or what she should have done, they should have done this, they should have done that. And then I'm going to leave it open, kind of leave it hanging, so that in the next video, I'll give you the conclusion. Well, had he come talk to me first, this is what I would have suggested. Or had she come and asked me before going through all of that process, this is what I would have suggested, or this is what I would have advised. And so I will then close the loop or finalize the story, tell you the conclusion to the story in the beginning of the next video. And then we'll move on from there. And what that video then, okay, so that leads me to my next point, and then I'll tell the next story. And then I'll wait to see what everybody thinks the proper way of dealing with that situation is, and then I can respond to them or whatever, and then give them the conclusion or what I would have done in the next following video. So I'm hoping to do a series on that, a series of storytelling videos. where I tell stories about things that couples will relate to. And so it's extraordinarily difficult because as a licensed therapist, I'm not allowed to tell anything or divulge any information about any of my clients because they have complete confidentiality. Like it is protected, and I'm not allowed to say anything about it. That might indicate who a person is or what their story is. But I think there's so many universal stories across the board that it's the same story over and over and over. And so those stories I'm going to relate in a more generic sense, but one that relates to pretty much everybody. So the goal or the hope here is that when people watch the video, they go, oh my God, he could be talking about me. I wonder if he's talking about me. Well, for the people that have already talked to me and been my clients, they might think I'm actually talking about them. But I think I should be able to clear it up like, no, obviously I wasn't talking about you. I didn't tell you, nothing, right? It's just a universal concept that everyone can relate to because too often we think we're the only ones going through something, especially in a relationship. And there's such a stigma about talking to your friends and family and other people about their relationship or telling any hardships or any things you're dealing with because we've got to put on this front that we're a great couple, we're a great relationship, we've got it all together. And then, of course, there's things you're dealing with that you don't necessarily want to share with your friends who are also going through the exact same things, but they're not going to share that either. So I'm hoping that these videos in this new series that I'm going to be doing will be more relatable so that people can see it and go, oh my God, dude, this totally makes sense. And it's going to be in such a generic term that then they can share it with their friends that they also know are probably going through the same thing so that they can get and put their input and their take on it. And so I'm hoping that it'll be a way to kind of open up the idea for a conversation among friends who are couples in relationships that they can then talk with their own friends and family and relatives without necessarily needing to see a therapist, but get the insight and advice as if they were talking to one. So anyway, that's going to be the goal. That's where I'm going to go this next this next month. I've got already, I think, 6 other videos in the can. I call it in the can. It's in the hopper. So those will be coming out soon. But I'm going to start recording today. I'm going to start recording the storytelling videos. And I think I'm even going to change up the format a little bit because right now it's always the same format. It's me talking in front of the computer, talking into the really good Yeti microphone. However, I think I'm going to try and do it a little more vlog style. I've got a new camera. It's the new Insta 360 Go 3. I don't have it here in front of me. It's upstairs. But man, I'm loving that little thing. And it's I've been kind of practicing with it a little bit the last couple of weeks because I haven't shot any videos the last couple of weeks for the channel. Now, I've recorded a whole bunch of content, which I'm ultimately going to delete because it's all crap, basically. It's just me practicing talking into the camera so that I can hopefully get more used to it and seeing what's working, what's not working with the vlog angles and so forth. And I've noticed the microphone is decent. It's actually got a pretty good sound unless I'm outside in the wind. And I know there's a function and a feature on that thing that's supposed to block out some of the wind noise. I haven't used it yet just because I'm just now trying to get used to that camera. But I'm going to try and start recording a couple of videos with that camera so that I can try a different style video. So I'm interested in hearing what people think. So if you're watching any of those videos, do drop me something. If not on the channel itself, drop it in the Grow an Online Business YouTube channel so you can give me some info and some input on whether or not you like the new style of videos because I'm going to be doing some testing, and I'm going to be testing out some new video formats and some new audio, some just basically different ways of doing what I'm doing, because I think it's while the information is good, it's not being presented in a way that is novel or unique. And so because it's not, and it can be boring. It's just me standing here talking or sitting here talking. And so yes, I've got some fire editing. My editing is on fire. The editor, Shri, who's doing it now, is amazing. And he's clipping in stuff, putting in B-roll, putting in background noises, sounds, all sorts of stuff, It's really cool. I know he's going to be making some changes. We have been listening to the audience who said, hey, lower the background music a little bit. Don't put as many clicks, or lower the sound effect volume a little bit. So anyway, he's working on doing and taking care of all of those things. So there will be some new tweaks and some new changes in the upcoming weeks and months ahead. Excited to see where this is going to go. Excited to see if this is going to make any difference. And also, once I start the new storytelling series, I think we're going to start chopping up those videos and making a few shorts out of them. So I will be trying and attempting the short format content and seeing if that isn't what the channel's missing. I know when I got a YouTube audit through Shri from several of his friends that are doing similar type projects, they said that they hit a certain point and then they kind of stagnated at that spot until they added short form content. And so I think that's going to be our next step. Apparently, according to him, we're a little bit ahead of the game by using the ad campaign in order to bolster up to the 1,000, past the 1,000 subscriber mark in the first 4 or 5 months. So we kind of shortcutted about 6 months there, which was kind of a cool thing. But it also created all of that extra excitement and momentum early on. And so it kind of squashed what I was experiencing up to that point, building it and growing it at a slower pace. So now, of course, my expectations have moved up. And so now I want it to grow much faster. It's not growing at the speed that I want it to grow at. So I find myself getting a little bit disappointed, which you know what, that's going to happen. And I'm just going to have to find a way through that. And I think the way through that is to change and to adapt and to create the content that is going to help the channel maintain a faster growth curve. So I understand right now it's not even in an exponential growth. It is still just chucking along. And so the hope here is that the new style of content will bolster the watch time, because by telling a story, people won't just be listening, hearing the advice, getting what they want, and punting off of the video, because right now the videos retention range from about 30 to 50%. And I realized too that I was just punching in a bunch of information. And so when somebody heard something that they were like, oh, got it, that sounds awesome, that's what I'm going to do, there's no reason for them to listen to the rest of the video. So I'm going to be trying something different. I'm interested to hear if anybody else has done a YouTube channel and hit that mark where the types of videos you are making got you to where you are, and then it just kind of plateaued. And if that happened, what did you do to get to the next level? I'm really interested in hearing that, because I could use a little bit of extra advice. Of course, I'm getting some advice from my directioner. I'm going to be taking that advice, obviously, but I would love to hear something from anyone else who's gone through this, and whether or not it was successful or was a failure. Because I don't want to be doing something that, let's say, you've already done and you're like, oh, dude, no, don't do that. Because really what you're wanting to do is this instead. This is what I found. So I don't know. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know some way or another on one of the social medias. I don't really care. I check everything on a fairly consistent basis. At least once every other day, I check everything: the Facebook, the Instagram, YouTube, my website, aarongerals.com. So if you have something to tell me, let me know, because I would love to hear from you and find out what it is that you've done that's worked for you, or something that you've done that hasn't worked in as far as growing their YouTube channel. At any rate, I will keep you guys informed. I will let you know what works and what doesn't, and I will keep you posted. So thanks for listening, and I look forward to what's to come. I will find out what it is, and I'll let you know then. Thanks for listening, and if you like this podcast, give it a like. Share it with your friends if you have any that you want to torture with listening to this podcast. Thanks, guys.